I do want to focus in on one of the quotes that you used with the uh, with Mr. Gecko. It was greed, paraphrase, and of course, greed would save the United States. I thought that one to be particularly interesting. Just kind of going along your lines that there's a lot of inequity and still a lot of issues. I think to an extent that Mr. Gecko is partially right and partially wrong, but not for the reasons you think. First of all, he's wrong mainly for the fact of, well, greed almost always leads to ruin because if you look at any example in history, the more power you accrue, the more likely you are to lose it all. Um, Having so much money is unsustainable. Eventually, you're going to get caught. Um, on the other end, though, I think he's partially right, not because greed will save the United States, because that's a dumb proposition. But I think it's because in his mind, greed will save the United States, and that's why he's right. Because you have to realize that most of these people who hold all the money view themselves as saviors almost. Um, they do get to control what happens. They get to control what decisions people make. And people with a lot of money tend to be very, very involved in politics. Hence why they think they are saving the United States. Um, yeah, definitely partially right and partially wrong. Um, excuse me. Um, I it's all that kind of stuff right there. Uh, and then you kind of go into the whole racial aspect of it, and it kind of that statement takes on sort of that even deeper meaning because then it doesn't become okay. I've got a ton of money. That money is going to save the United States. That becomes okay. I've got a ton of money. That money is going to save is this whole entire racial situation. They become white saviors, not American saviors. Um, and we kind of start to see that with what is it, gentrification, and this, of course, during World War II or in the years after World War II, we see a movement out to the suburbs, and now we're kind of starting to see a movement back into the cities, into downtown areas. With just take a look at like cities like New York, who have seen like especially Manhattan, which has seen an incredible rise in housing prices. San Francisco, um, and eventually greed doesn't save it saves the richest version of the United States. It saves their investment, it saves their uh, wealth and their interest. It does not save the interest of the general American. um, and of course you've been able to see that greed eventually kind of leads right back around into the deepest roots of American society, the people on the backs on which it was built on. And it starts to hurt them. It doesn't save America. It saves the corporate version of America, but it doesn't save America. So, yes, I think he's partially right and partially wrong in that regard.